Okay, topic for today is a SWOT analysis. So, as many of you probably know, a SWOT analysis is a business tool and it's used to evaluate an organization or a project's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But what you may not be as aware of is that it's also something that can be really well transferred to other areas, including self-improvement and personal life. So this is the exercise for today, sort of keeping within the realm of the new year, and sort of prepping for the new year and reflecting on the past year. So let's get into it. So I got strengths, weaknesses, I am missing opportunities, so putting that in here. I'm going to remove this in a moment. Going to just make this a little bit more aesthetic. Maybe add an icon. Okay, ready to go. And then what's really typical of the SWOT, as many of you probably know, is like the typical kind of quadrant format. So I'm going to emulate that here as well. And then I'm going to start by giving them each a bullet point. So this is how I set it up in Notion. And yeah, let's do some examples as to how you may use this as like a journaling reflection exercise. So there we go. We are ready to go. I'm going to remove this. Cool. Let's do it. Okay. So maybe for threats, or you know what, let's start up here on the top left. For strength, so like let's go with maybe creative. Maybe you're a really creative person. Maybe you are a very emotionally intelligent person. I would say obviously go way deeper, but for the sake of the fact that this is a example and everybody is obviously unique, I'm going to keep it a little bit concise. But so, okay, creative, emotionally intelligent. Then moving on to weaknesses, maybe maybe emotion is both a strength and a weakness. Maybe you are sometimes maybe a bit emotionally dysregulated. Maybe you are prone to burnout. I'm just giving some examples. I'm clearly having some trouble with spelling today. Okay, we're going to leave it like that. I don't even know. Okay, opportunities and threats. So these are the external ones. These are the internal ones. So like burnout, for example, that, I mean, obviously it stems from the outside, but still some people are more prone to it than others. I'm going to keep that as a weakness, being an internal issue rather than an external one, but can definitely be externally managed. We'll talk about that in a second. Opportunities. Maybe you have a strong like network of people, yeah, and also I'll say that I think that within a business, it's a little bit easier to do this because you're just working like within sort of like one realm of one's life. When this, I mean, it gets very all over the place. It may be career, it may be relationships, it may be just like generally like reflecting on your own like personality and emotions, etc. But I don't think it's a problem if it's a little bit all over the place, because you're able to, like, afterwards when you're really like looking at it with a bird's eye view, you can hone in on certain aspects more than others. So yeah, I'm gonna say strong network. Maybe you're very so I was gonna say discipline, but that's definitely an internal thing, so let's move that here. Opportunities, maybe you are maybe your like location wise is like something that you're close to, close to sort of like many opportunities, like you're kind of like positioned in a situation where you don't have to put much effort into sort of like grasp the opportunities that are available to you. Meanwhile, not that I want to make this necessarily super competitive, but maybe your quote unquote competitors in certain aspects, you know, don't have that same opportunity. So location, that could be obviously, again, very dependent on what your situation is. Threats. In terms of outside threats, maybe you have like a lot of like kind of negative or toxic energy around you, like whether that's like extended family or like people that you need to work with or something that's like a difficulty. Maybe you are I'm just gonna make this up, but like say that you maybe you really enjoy what you do, but it's like a very political, maybe like political industry or something like that. Something that then feeds into maybe that proneness to burnout it's not complementary in that way. So again, may feel a little all over the place. I'm kind of spitballing here because this is like a hypothetical person, I guess. But assuming that this is our person, I'm then going to get into how you maybe can reflect on this more broadly. So I think that what's really cool is like once you've actually done a good job of this, I would say like you can even use ChatGPT, like pop it in ChatGPT, see what it says. Like there's all sorts of interesting, or show it to a friend, show it to a family member. Like they may see things that you don't. And I think that that's really the valuable thing about it. So it's about how can you design your life to account for some of those weaknesses. So for example, if you're prone to burnout, maybe you have to be really strict about like what is your work schedule, or like what hours of the week are you going to take to sort of regroup and decompress. Then when it comes to strengths, like how can you use those strengths to your advantage? Like maybe people around you are more like book smart than you, but how can you make sure that it's obvious to like your boss or like to other people that you're trying to impress that you have like those soft skills? With regard to opportunities and threats, is the exact same thing. How can you account for those threats? How can you work to not have those energies impact you? How can you maybe like minimize the impacts of like that industry aspect that you're struggling with? Opportunities, how can you leverage those opportunities in a way that some other people can't, maybe? Like if the opportunity is there, take it. So again, realize this is very high level, but hopefully it stimulates a sort of interesting journaling exercise that you could put onto your own life, even though it's actually coming from like business ideologies. And I think it's really interesting to use business ideologies and apply it to your personal life, because using those frameworks can actually be really powerful. And I think that oftentimes we don't realize that they are transferable.